Your phone buzzes. A new email lands in your inbox. Your coworker stops by your desk with a quick question. And just like that, your focus shatters again. You stare at the blinking cursor on your screen and realize you've accomplished almost nothing today. The familiar weight of frustration settles in your chest as you wonder, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just focus? The answer isn't what you might think. Your inability to focus isn't a character flaw or moral failing. It's not even entirely your fault. In a world engineered to steal your attention, maintaining focus has become the ultimate challenge of our time. The hidden forces sabotaging your focus. Look around. Every device, app, and platform you interact with was designed with one goal: to capture and hold your attention. They employ teams of engineers and psychologists whose sole job is to make their products as addictive as possible. Remember the last time you opened Instagram for just a quick check and emerged 40 minutes later? That wasn't an accident. But external distractions are only part of the story. The more insidious enemies of focus lurk within your own mind. When you sit down to work on something meaningful, your brain often rebels. Suddenly, you remember that email you forgot to send. You wonder if anyone commented on your post. You feel an irresistible urge to reorganize your desk. This isn't random. Your brain is protecting you from something it perceives as threatening: the discomfort of focused work. Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, points out that true focus requires entering a state of cognitive strain. And your brain, which evolved to conserve energy, naturally resists this strain. The real cost of lost focus. The price you pay for chronic distraction extends far beyond unfinished tasks. When you can't focus, you exist in a perpetual state of shallow thinking. You skim the surface of ideas without diving deep. You start many things but finish few. Your days feel busy yet strangely empty. Research from Microsoft shows that the average attention span has dropped from 12 seconds in 2000 to just 8 seconds today, less than that of a goldfish. But the most painful cost is what Cal Newport calls attention residue. Every time you switch tasks, a residue of your attention remains stuck on the previous activity. Your mental resources become fragmented, leaving you unable to bring your full capabilities to anything. You know what this feels like. That nagging sense that you're operating at 60% of your potential. The frustration of watching others accomplish in an hour what takes you 3. Why traditional advice fails. Just put your phone away. Use a website blocker. Try the Pomodoro technique. You've heard it all before. Maybe you've tried these approaches with temporary success. But eventually you slide back into distraction. Why do these methods fail? Because they address symptoms, not causes. They attempt to modify behavior without understanding the underlying psychology. The truth is that chronic distraction often serves as a coping mechanism, a way to avoid difficult emotions or challenging work. Until you address these deeper issues, superficial fixes will always fail. The focus framework, a better approach. True focus isn't about forcing yourself to concentrate. It's about creating conditions where concentration becomes the path of least resistance. Here's 5 steps to build a life that naturally cultivates deep focus. 1. Design your environment. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than willpower ever will. Author James Clear explains in Atomic Habits that environment design is one of the most effective ways to change behavior. Don't rely on self-control. Make distraction difficult and focus easy. Create physical spaces dedicated solely to deep work. This might be a specific corner of your home, a particular desk configuration, or even just a pair of noise-canceling headphones that signal to your brain, it's time to focus. Remove friction from focused activities and add friction to distractions. Put your phone in another room, not just face down beside you. Close all browser tabs except those essential to your current task. 2. Understand your energy rhythms. Focus isn't evenly distributed throughout your day. It follows your biological rhythms. Track your energy for a week. When do you naturally feel most alert and clear-headed? For many, this peak occurs in the morning, though some experience it later in the day. Once you identify your peak focus hours, defend them ruthlessly. Schedule your most demanding tasks during these windows and protect them from meetings and shallow work. 3. Train your attention muscle. Focus, like physical strength, improves with consistent training. Start with brief, focus sessions, perhaps just 15 minutes, and gradually extend them as your capacity grows. During these sessions, commit to working on just one task without switching. When your mind inevitably wanders, gently bring it back without judgment. This practice of noticing and redirecting attention strengthens your focus over time. Meditation serves as excellent training for this skill. Even 5 minutes daily of observing your breath teaches your brain to notice when attention drifts and how to return it to the present moment. 4. Address the emotional roots of distraction. As psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi observed, we often use distraction to regulate our emotional state. Pay attention to when your focus breaks. What emotion preceded the urge to check your phone or switch tasks? Boredom? Anxiety? Imposter syndrome? Once you identify these emotional triggers, you can develop healthier responses. If anxiety drives your distraction, perhaps a brief meditation or deep breathing exercise would serve better than a social media scroll. If boredom triggers task switching, maybe your work needs to be structured with more intrinsic rewards or challenges. 5. Create focus rituals. The brain responds powerfully to ritual. Consistent cues that signal "it's time to focus" can bypass conscious resistance. Develop a pre-focus ritual, perhaps brewing tea, clearing your desk, and setting a timer. After repeating this sequence enough times, your brain will automatically prepare for deep concentration when you begin the ritual. Similarly, create closing rituals that signal the end of focused work. This helps prevent the anxiety of incomplete tasks from bleeding into your relaxation time. Breaking free from the distraction cycle. The most insidious aspect of chronic distraction is how it becomes self-reinforcing. Each distracted day makes the next more likely to follow the same pattern. To break this cycle, start small. Don't try to transform overnight. Begin with just one daily session of truly focused work, perhaps 25 minutes. Protect this time with absolute commitment, as if it were a meeting with someone you deeply respect. As philosopher William James noted, the faculty of voluntarily bringing back a wandering attention, over and over again, is the very root of judgment, character, and will. With consistency, these small victories accumulate. One focus session becomes 2. Focus extends from 25 minutes to an hour. The satisfaction of deep work begins to outweigh the temporary relief of distraction. The deeper truth about focus. At its core, the ability to focus reflects your relationship with discomfort. Modern life has conditioned us to expect instant gratification, to reach for relief at the first hint of boredom, frustration, or difficulty. But meaningful work inherently involves these feelings. Ryan Holiday, drawing from Stoic philosophy, suggests embracing these uncomfortable states rather than avoiding them. The capacity to sit with discomfort, to continue focusing when your mind craves escape, might be the most valuable skill you can develop in today's world. This isn't about punishing yourself or glorifying struggle. It's about recognizing that on the other side of that initial resistance lies the deep satisfaction of absorption in meaningful work, what psychologists call flow. Moving forward. Tomorrow, when you sit down to work, remember, your focus matters because it's through sustained attention that you create value in the world. Your struggle with distraction isn't a personal failure but a natural response to both external pressures and internal patterns. With deliberate practice and compassionate self-awareness, you can reclaim your attention and direct it toward what truly matters. The path to better focus isn't about perfection or rigid control. It's about building a set of practices that gradually shift you toward becoming the person who can bring their full attention to what matters most. In a distracted world, the ability to focus becomes a superpower. And like any superpower, it takes time to develop. Be patient with yourself as you build this capacity, day by day, moment by moment. Your life's work deserves your full attention. And with practice, you'll find yourself increasingly able to give it exactly that.